Hey Fraser,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Can't complain. Just go and take it easy on the Saturday, you know?
Where are you in Jamaica right now or you're overseas?
Yeah, I in Jamaica.
So what's the weekend been like so far? It's Saturday.
Go see you this morning. Don't
Mm,
catch nothing, but so I got some time. And
okay.
just watch some football and easy on the couch and just
Oh,
chill up.
you're a football fan. Please tell me you're a Chelsea fan.
Stop the foolishness, man. City
Wait,
out.
yeah. Oh, you're a City fan.
Mm.
Barely scraped through the win today, but congrats. You can hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, yeah, man. So it's really I've been looking forward to this because I have a lot of things that I want to learn from you. Um, I've always been interested in motorsports, but never really had the opportunity to like delve into it. So I wanted to know if it's a case where you were born into it or you just kind of stumbled across it like when you were younger.
That's a good question. Actually, nobody in my family has ever done any
Mm.
form of motorsport. Uh, and I actually started with motocross because I love bikes and got into it at a young age and just slowly grew out of bikes and went into bigger bikes as I went on,
Okay.
um, and just got very competitive with it. And it got to a stage where it was racing at the not a very high level but the highest level we
Mm.
could make up. And the my parents said no more because it too heart wrenching for them. The
Too
bike,
dangerous.
yeah, too dangerous, and I was starting to fly higher and jump longer, and that
Mm.
comes with harder crashes
Mm.
and more injuries. So we stopped that pretty early, and that's what really transitioned us into go karts and
Okay.
four wheels. So they said if it was going to continue, it had to be four wheels. So that's where the go karting journey started.
So that is still dangerous. So they had no concerns about that whatsoever.
You mean the go karting?
Yeah, the go-karting.
It's actually not dangerous. The racing on four wheels is actually quite safe,
Mm.
but there is still some level to danger in anything you do, but nothing compared to the dirt bike. It was um, dirt bike was really taking a toll on my body while I was pretty young.
Mm. Okay. Compared to two, when you had to make that transition, was it a case where you reluctantly did it, or you were just like, maybe this is an opportunity that I can excel in?
It was. I was also kind of, I grabbed the opportunity with both hands. I said, well, this go karting thing look even more fun than the dirt bike.
Okay.
And in my head, I could see myself taking it further than the motocross could. So, so I had the opportunity, and it was also something I'd never done, which
Okay.
really intrigued me.
Right. Um, from my perspective, it's the industry seems to be small, but where was the case where it was easy for you to find, trainers and just persons who you can compete with?
The go karting.
Go-karting, yes.
I actually started my go karting career with Peter Ray,
Okay.
and eventually transitioned over to the Moody NG Racing team,
Hmm.
and you know learned a lot from both of them, and take my hat off to both of them for those foundation driving skills, and you know just
Yeah.
getting it right from the beginning. And the coaching that I received from both of them is priceless, and it's hard to go into a sport like that and
Right.
just wing it and do what you think is right, because if you don't know anything and you start bad habits from the beginning, and you you become stubborn, and then you'll never really improve
Right.
as good as you'd want to be. So that's something I've also learned, is always always accepting criticism and advice when it's needed, and it might not necessarily be wanted from you, because as a driver, you always think what you're doing is right, but being able to accept criticism is a big trait that I think I've developed.
Okay. And I want to, so in doing that transition, you now become the key, the face of the industry basically at such a young age. And I want to congratulate you on a few accomplishments that you've had recently. So you finished second overall in the Rally Nordic X Championships, nominated for Sportsman of the Year, and you're now the ambassador for True Shape. Like 2021, that season, what like describe that year for you?
2021 was big. Every year that we've done so 2019 to 21 has been, forget 2020, but
yeah,
every year has been, everybody forgets 2020, but every year has been a big step. In bring it back to even 2017. Thank you for the recognition on that word as well. But 2017 we won a lot of the championships in Jamaica. We won Rally Jamaica, youngest to ever win Rally Jamaica in 2017. 2018 we made our debut in ARX, America's Rallycross, and then in 2019 we made our debut in Europe, and we actually won the ARX2 championship in 2019, and then we said, all right, 2020, this is the year we're going up into supercar, we're gonna go for that championship. And it kind of went on hold, but racing did still resume.
Okay.
And I was able to get 3 races in a supercar, but it was by no means a competitive car. It was just a last minute, this event is happening, this car is here, we'll give you to drive. So that was, I never really had the equipment that I needed to compete at the highest level there, but we still managed a couple podiums and second in the championship.
Right.
And last year, 2021, we said, all right, we're gonna go for the Rally X Championship.
Right.
And we had the car to do it, and we had proper preparation and some great sponsors on board. But one of the competitors was also Johan Kristoffersen, who is now last year's world champion and also 4-time world champion for the World Rallycross Championship. So I was able to get a win off of him in the first round. And some really, really close racing throughout the year, but for it being call it my first full year in a supercar, it was hard to go up against a champ like that.
I can imagine, yeah.
But learned a lot from him, and he's just one of the best out there. And like I said, it's being able to accept defeat and see where I can improve this all part of the learning process, and use those lessons to go over to Nitro Rallycross in America, where racing against my childhood hero and some other legends, Travis Pastrana, Scott Speed, and Tana Faust, and all those guys, and was right up there with them. And in the first practice session of the first event, I was fastest. Got some really good races under my belt, and just every race there seemed to be a hiccup. It was both driver inflicted mistakes and non-driver mistakes, and everything just every meet it started to go good, and it's just an unforgiving sport. As soon as you make one foot wrong or something with the car doesn't go according to plan, everything is downhill. So
how do you deal with that though? How do you bounce back from like those disappointments?
It's always learning how to deal with it. It's never easy. You develop such a fighting spirit and so much desire to win in all these preparations for these races. But being able to channel that, and because you get angry if
Yeah.
when something doesn't go right in those high stakes kind of, you've been working your whole life for this moment. When something goes wrong in those moments, you really get mad. But
Right.
being able to channel that anger to, desire, to wanting to improve, and also just forgetting about the mistakes, and just pressing forward. Always setting myself, any bad situation you can learn from it, and you should learn from it. But I also try to not, in the moment, you want to forget the bad memory,
Right.
but I really try to remember the bad memory to make sure that it will never happen again, if you get what I mean.
I get you. It's just
But
a case of you remember and
in
just learn from it.
on top of that, you have to also remember the good. You can't only remember the bad, because then all the memories and all the thoughts will be bad. So
Right.
so you have to make sure that you're mixing in positive thoughts, and when you win,
Yeah.
you celebrate.
Yeah.
When you do a good time and have a good race, and it just never seems to go your way, you look on the good, and improve on the bad.
It's definitely a mindset thing, and your mindset definitely has to be strong, being successful at such a young age. But you spoke about resources. Like when you just started, it sounded like you didn't really have much resources until you started to like cement a name in the industry, started to get some wins, started to get some recognition. Is that a problem for, say, a younger person who wants to go into racing now? Do they have access to that resource that can help them?
There is good resources out here in Jamaica to get a young person started on the right path if they were to pursue it full time.
Yeah.
The go-karting facility out at Palisades is world class, and that is always the foundation to going anywhere. Any driver you really talk to, it's go-karting. That they'll tell you they started with go-karting, whether it's rally or circuit racing or whatever, it's go-karting.
Right.
On top of that, I'm trying to start waiting for the right moment now to actually kick off the Yardman racing. COVID has made it very hard, as everyone kind of knows how that goes already.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have a personal limit to an event before when I start Yardman, because it's going to be so big, and that's also going to give people that can't even really afford go-karting an opportunity to get behind a wheel and show their talents, and maybe pick up some sponsors, and even just have fun with it throughout the whole way.
Talk to me more about that Yardman event. What is it that you tried to achieve with it?
So I learned the concept came from Europe, cause it's in Sweden. When I went for my first race in Sweden, the question came up of where did this all come from? Everything normally has a grassroots, and then you build upon the grassroots, and you have the steps along all the way up to the highest level. But we were racing at the highest level in Sweden, so we said, where does it start? Over here. And they said folk racing. And folk racing, all the old Volvos and the Saabs and the Fiat, all the old junk cars, they restore them. Not even restore them. They just make sure that it can drive straight, having a 4-point roll cage, has an engine to make it move, and then they all go racing. And it's on dirt and asphalt mixed rallycross format. And the whole idea behind it is keeping the cost of racing down, and therefore making it accessible for most people. And how that works is through a tender system. And every year there's a threshold on what you're allowed to spend on the car. So if the club announces that we're gonna let's do it in euro dollars because we're talking about
Okay.
Sweden.
Yeah.
So the spending cap for this year's folk racing in Sweden is €2,000. Then nobody's car will be valued more than €2,000. So you can go and spend $1 million upgrading the car with engine and tires, you name it. But at the end of every race, your car is eligible for sale, whether you like it or not. So once you've entered the race meet, your car is then put into the available selection of cars for sale. So you can be a spectator, you can be a driver. You go and buy a $20 raffle ticket for car number 35, let's say. And at the end of the race, all of those raffle tickets for car number 35 are drawn. And then we say, oh, 876Stream bought one raffle ticket for €20. And since we've stated that the spending cap is €20,000 or €2,000 for this car, you now have to pay that and you receive the car. So it stops anybody wanting to spend a lot because they know that everyone will want that car.
Okay.
If you understand.
Yeah, man. And all right. So you say you want to bring that to Jamaica. Like, tell me more about the community of racing. Do you think like it needs to be more diversified, or there's not much of a push to include, like, cause you talk about advocating for the non-traditional sports, which racing is, and bringing more awareness to that. So is that something that you're trying to do?
Definitely, Jamaica has a huge motorsport culture. As you know, every taxi is thinks that the baddest thing out there. And so I give one of my visions is at one of the Yardman finals is going to be the Papine route taximan on the left and Bagwalk taximan on the right, and you have a coaster bus man in there as well, and then you have like a David Zumba or Doug Gore in that mix as well with them. All racing in relatively equal cars, and it'll just be a good, genuine fun mixed in with some proper competition as well. So, like I said, I'm waiting for the right time to start because it's definitely now, and it's gonna be able to, one, bring back some fun into the country with racing, and two, and most importantly, which is what I really want to push, is giving the people the opportunity to race that really don't have the means to do so with rally or with Dover. It takes a lot of funds to be in a competitive class in Dover. But this Yardman will really open that door to a broader spectrum of people.
Personally, do you like that responsibility? That you're face of it all, and you're trying to engineer more interest in the sport. Do you like that responsibility of having to do that?
You make it sound like a bad thing. No, it's good.
No. It's sometimes you get like you feel pressured by it. I'm not sure, but yeah, you probably enjoy it.
No, man. Like I haven't had the joy to really kick it off yet. So I haven't gone through that teething pain process of getting it started. Putting on an event like that, especially for the first time, would really be a headache. But once it's off the ground and everyone kind of understands how it works, the events will kind of run themselves. A little bit of admin, and just getting people out there to jump in cars and start racing. So it will be a big responsibility to make sure that it runs according to plan, but not worried about it in the slightest.
Um, where do you see the future of motorsports in Jamaica?
I don't know. To be honest with you, it's
Where would
gonna.
you like? Where would
I'm
you
I'm
like
really,
it to be?
I'm really excited to see what the first Dover event is gonna look like. Um, people have saved up a lot of money through COVID that race, and I know people are. No old parts. All the bad stuff is swapped out, and everybody's waiting to prove that they're the baddest thing after COVID for the first race. So there's gonna, you know, egos are gonna be high at the first Dover, and it's gonna be exactly what the crowd needs. And no racing for 2 years or so. It's people just want to smell the fuel and hear the cars roaring around, So the future on that point, I don't.
You're not quite sure yet.
Yeah, it's hard to say when or how. I'm not sure because we're still facing some tough times, but hopefully, fingers crossed soon.
All right. I have a few friends who are interested in racing, and they always talk to me about the atmosphere at Dover. Like, how significant is it? The atmosphere, how engaging
Never
is it
been?
for you? The atmosphere at Dover.
You've never been?
No, me? No, I've never been.
Oh yeah, so man. Dover wicked. All if
It is.
when I was racing there on the way to the bathroom, for example, you have 5-10 people coming up to you, yo, you make me win a money,
Yeah.
Walking down. I say, yeah, man, bet again. What 2 more races coming up? We can bet again. End of the day, biggest Team France fans because, the little side betting and those stuff happen. And then you have the little food shop people around the people that, can't even really afford to pay to come in there along the side of the track, hanging off the trees. In the good old days with Doug and David really battling out, you'd have 10,000 people, 12,000 people, half of them in blue, half of them in red, and it's proper fan support. It's a big sound system playing. You have commentators throughout the whole day, and it's a really wicked energy.
Yeah, I've just learned recently that there's like a subculture. Everybody is fascinated about Dover. So maybe I should probably go there.
For sure.
Yeah.
I know they're keeping the track in workable condition, which is hard for the club now because they're not getting any revenue. But everyone within the club and the community sees the future for Dover to continue. So they're not making it go fully downhill. It's alive.
Talk to me more about your career. What has it been like racing with Augsburg MSC, the team?
They've definitely brought me a very long way. Taught me a lot, if not all of the rallycross knowledge that I have now is due to the Ericssons and OMSC. They're definitely one of the best at what they do up there. They took me in like family as well. I lived in Sweden for 3-4 months, for about 2 years apart. And they're really awesome people. Like I said, take me in like family. And they're really no nonsense people. If they're gonna do something, they make sure that they do it right. They make sure they have all that they need to make them get the job done. And like I say, they celebrate the wins and really think about the losses hard and make sure that they don't happen again. And they're a big contributing factor to where I am now.
So when do you start the season and what's the schedule this season? I know so you spoke about 2021 season. When does the season start?
So our plan this year is to go back into Nitro Rallycross and that would start in June with 3 events in Europe. They haven't released this calendar fully. They haven't released an official calendar yet, but tentative right now is a few in Europe, about 4 in America, and then we're actually going over to the Middle East for 2. And I think they're gonna the last one is either Canada in February, or somewhere else in America around the same time. So it's a new racing calendar to be not in one calendar year. It's kind of going from June to February, which would be cool. You know, Christmas time is normally everybody time off, but you know, like the other basketball players and some other sports, that's their crunch time, and it'll actually be the only motorsport live during that time. So that'll be really, really cool to, you know, kind of change how motorsports calendars are developed through that. And the Nitro committee hasn't really released all of the costings yet. We're in talking with teams, but you know, they still have to do up their budgets to see where they are. But they have to wait until Nitro's released all of that before they can, you know, propose anything. So
I get you.
And I talked with a few, can't say any names yet, but it's looking good. And the media package that they're about to present is if it's going to be anything bigger than last year, which it will be, it is, you know, it definitely heading in the right direction. We're on NBC SN. The new NBC SN is Peacock, stream on Peacock last year.
Right.
YouTube live throughout worldwide. They had the Zone in Canada and other countries like that. Sportsmax was throughout the whole Caribbean. You know, I was able to get that black, green, and gold car seen to all of the eyes.
Right. And I ask because, you know, I feel like, you know, we need to bring more attention to the sport. I believe that there's a lot of persons that are interested in it, but, you know, Jamaica overall doesn't really see, you know, the full potential of it. So it would be interesting to kind of keep track and keep up to date. Just watch, whether it's through your media platform or to the platforms that you just described, what's going on.
Yeah, I've been quite quiet on social media this year so far. I'm not the type of person to post old content or be the annoying one on your feed. So I'm waiting for things to back up, and you know, hopefully I'll get some stuff out there.
I mean, you could send some videos that we can post them for you.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I have some holding cars and stuff I can look through. But I like to keep them recent and relevant. You know, hate the throwback themes. So
yeah. I've just wrapping up. I've a question I wanted to ask you. What are some of the local drivers or some of the best local drivers that you've competed against?
Best local drivers I've competed against, you know, one is definitely Kyle Gregg. 2 was William Myers. You know, me and him were toe to toe with it. He's also one of 2 of them are both of them are good friends of mine. Colin Daly is you know, when he's behind our wheelies, using all of what he has to make sure he's right there. Thomas Issa, you know, back in the go-karting days, he never ever really pursued so much 4 wheels, but as a go-karter, he was the guy to beat. And I haven't gotten the opportunity to race, you know, the older generation. But you know, watching the Davids and the Dogs and the Jeffrey Panton guys, you know, really in their kind of prime, that's kind of the guys that led the way for motorsports for a good while. So also always hearing stories of Peter Moody, you know, the late Peter Moody, God bless his soul, was the team boss for NG Racing.
Yeah.
And the stories that you hear from him at Dover and him at Raleigh, you get goosebumps listening to them. And I really wish I could have been around to see that. But we're new generation, and hopefully people will see that and tell those stories about this generation as well.
Who's better, you or Sarah Messier?
She's actually been doing some great things, She's in the women's championship for a McLaren seat. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn there, but it's really big things for her.
Yeah.
And she just keeps advancing and advancing throughout the ranks and getting closer and closer to that final position, the number 1 spot. So I'm really rooting for her. It's really wicked to see another Jamaican on the international map, bringing it up and showing the world that what it takes. And I don't have any doubt that she'll get to that number 1 spot and get the McLaren ride.
Yeah, I'm sure she has the same mutual respect for you. But before we wrap up, I know you're young, you're still very much young in your career, but do you have any plans at all beyond racing?
Right now, the racing plan is still number 1. I'll tell you why, because the world is going electric. Believe it or not, some people may not like it, but the manufacturers are looking for a platform to, 1, develop their electric cars, and 2, promote them. And then Rallycross as one of their main formats to showcase this. It's very high intensity racing. It engages the fans throughout the whole thing. It's a race is no longer than 10 minutes, so you're able to hold that attention throughout the whole time. And right now everything is about performance and who can go 0 to 100 the quickest, who can jump the furthest and slide the most sideways. And Rallycross provides that opportunity for cars to do that. So this year Nitro is actually starting with their electric prototype, the FC1, and this is going to be the demonstration year for that car, and show the manufacturers that, hey, this is the series that you need to come and be a part of, because they're kind of changing the rules of how it works. The biggest jump I'd done in my life before that was at most 30 feet, 20 feet maybe. And at the first event, it was a 130-foot gap jump. So no rope between. And you look at it for the first time when you're walking, and you're like, what the hell am I doing here? This is crazy. And even the first actual jump attempt. So the day before, I give you a joke. The day before we get there, we calculated the speed. We talked to the engineers. This is the speed we need to do it. We have a speedometer in the car for this specific jump. Because the gap jump, how the gap jump work is you have a takeoff here and a landing here, and there's nothing between this. So if you jump short, you go into the wall. Yeah. And if you're long, you're landing on flat road, and that can up your back. So me and my teammate, we have the exact same car, same gear ratio. So we know that if we go 4th gear, full speed and a little bit of brake, we're at the desired speed. It was 78 miles per hour. We needed to go over the jump to land perfect. And so we got on the speed, we do it, and he goes first, and I'm on the landing side, waiting to go. He's gonna land, I'm gonna go on and jump. And I see him come over the jump and land a little bit short, not into the front, but just scraping.
Okay.
And I said, my God, I wonder if this man did follow the plan. So I throw that plan out the window. I go in full gas, no brake. And that was we just repeated that the entire weekend. It was funny.
So you were able to do the jump?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it had every lap. Except for one lap. which is a joker lap, went underneath in between that. So that was, if we had a 6-lap race, we're doing that jump 5 times.
Wow. Okay.
When I come with man start Fred, of course. when you set up plan with somebody, say you're doing the exact same thing, and them go out and come out short, you start Fred, yes.
Well, you said it's not as dangerous, but that sounds dangerous. Because imagine
man.
if you land short, as I said, you're gonna hit up straight into the wall.
Yeah, then in some problem. I don't have watching this, so it's not dangerous at all.
Good. But all right, we hear you. You have a lot more to offer the sport. And you seem to have like a direction where you want to go. So I want to wish you all the best with that. And I want to just thank you for just coming and talking with us today.
Yeah, man, guidance, and thanks for giving me the opportunity. And
man.
we can do another one of these closer to the time of racing. Get some live updates and
man,
share the love.
Yeah, definitely. Much respect and all the best, all right?
Yeah, man. Respect.